We rarely discuss news on this channel, but we've received numerous questions about this one, so here we go. The Canadian government has ordered the largest Chinese surveillance camera manufacturer to cease operations in Canada due to national security concerns. Just a few days later, this manufacturer challenged the Canadian government's order, filing a notice in federal court and requesting that the court suspend enforcement of this order until a final decision is reached. Now, many users are faced with uncertainty. Should they replace their camera? Should they keep them? How should they interpret this news? While I don't have the definitive answer, I have an excellent solution. Today we're looking at Rhombus Relay Core N100. This device can integrate any camera with an RTSP stream or ONVIF compatibility into their secured platform, ensuring compliance. Even cameras like this one will integrate seamlessly into the Relay Core, enabling you to use Rhombus AI-driven solution. Now, let's see how it works. So, Rhombus has three different offerings when it comes to integrating third-party cameras into their console. First is the Relay Lite. The one we have here is the Relay Core N100, so you can integrate up to 10 cameras on your console. And there is also the N500 if you want to integrate up to 50 cameras. Today we're focusing on the N100. As you can see, it has a nice desktop-sized design. Now, as far as storage goes, this one has a 2 TB drive, but you also have the option to have cloud storage. Now, as I mentioned before, the N100 can have up to 10 cameras rolling on it at 1080p, and this gives you 20 days of storage per camera. Now, if you want to have 4K cameras on it, well, you can have maybe 5 cameras that have 4K, but again, this will affect your storage space in the long run. So always keep in mind what type of camera you put on here, because it will affect the storage space. But as they mentioned, 20 days per camera is really if all your cameras are using 1080p. And now, one of the main concerns for cloud storage and cloud monitoring is cybersecurity. So with Rhombus, once camera stream reach the Rhombus device, all footage and cloud communications are fully encrypted. So you don't have to worry about that when you're using Rhombus devices. You also have access to 3 different license options, so when you get your N100, you don't need to buy license to have your third-party camera works, so it will act as a storage unit and a monitoring unit for basic streaming on the device. But you can also have professional licenses for your device, or even the enterprise license for a full suite of AI analytics. Not only that, but you also gain 30 days of storage per camera when you have the enterprise license. And this is true even though it's a 4K camera, if it's a PTZ camera. So it's not about storage space, it's really 30 days per camera. So it's a nice add-on that you can keep in mind when you get your license. As far as the compatibility requirements, it's pretty straightforward. Your camera needs to use H.264 compression as a minimum of 15 FPS, or either have RTSP stream or being ONVIF compatible. This way, Rhombus will use the ONVIF protocol to ingest the third-party camera into their console. And the N100 that we're using today have a 5 years warranty, and the camera we're using today, well, this one is a bit special. It was removed from one user's setup. It's a 2016 camera that has no analytics, only a 2 megapixel lens. And when I say 2016, it was 9 years ago. So this is when IP cameras were just becoming mainstream over analog. And today we're showing how the N100 can push all the AI analytics into this camera. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is actually power up your N100. So you connect the power cable as well as the Ethernet port, and then it will take some minutes for it to appear on your console. In the meantime, what you can do is actually set up your camera. So you need to connect it to the same LAN or VLAN as your N100, and it will be important to have with you the IP address of your camera, as well as the username and password if you want to access the RTSP stream. Now, next step is actually accessing your Rhombus console and going through your settings. So you go on the top right, clicking on the cogwheel. you go down here inside third-party cameras, so under device and feature, and you click on Rhombus Relay Cores. Here you will see your relay appear. So Rhombus will pre-register your device when you buy it. So when it appears, it will be linked to you. So you don't have to do nothing. You only power up, connect it to internet, and then you can wait up to 20 minutes before it appears, because it depends how long this product was sitting on the shelf. So there's maybe some updates it needs to run through. So it can take 5 minutes, it can take 20 minutes. It's all a matter of being patient here. So connect it, it will appear under Rhombus Relay Cores, and you can look at the status to make sure that it is healthy. Next, before you add your third-party camera, it's important to manage the username and password. So we click on the top right on Manage Username and Passwords, and this will be applied to the different third-party cameras you want to add. So for example here, this is my username, this is my password. You can add a note. So here, for example, I will name it like so. So every cameras from this brand will use the same admin and password. Then I can close this part. Then I access on the left third-party cameras. I add a third-party camera. So I select the location and I add my RTSP stream. Now, here it's important to note that from one manufacturer to the other, they have different links for their RTSP stream. So it's important to go to the documentation of the manufacturer to find the right sequence that you need to use here. In our case, this is the right sequence. So what you need is the username, password, and the IP address of your camera. We will put a default link in the description below so you can use it as well. Now we need to validate the camera. So it uses the username and password that we input before. We will use a name for this camera, and it will be assigned to the relay core, so that we have right here. And there you have it, your camera was successfully assigned. So I can click on close. I have my camera right here. I have my core status. So now I can click on my camera and go to its live view. And now we have our camera live on the screen. So as you can see, it just takes a matter of minutes. The most important thing is having the right information with you before you start the configuration. And to be honest, the longest part of this installation is just waiting for the N100 to boot up. But once this is done, as you can see, the camera is already live. So now we're gonna go and install it, and afterwards we'll demonstrate how you can bring those advanced analytics from the Rhombus console into your old cameras. All right, let's do this. Now that you've enrolled your third-party camera on the N100, this is what you would see, right? So you have your camera feed that is activated. You can access your camera either from here or click on devices on the left to see all the different cameras you have active. Here you have the status, so right now our cameras is healthy, and you can click on the camera name to actually see its live view. Now, for the purpose of this demo, we did a lot of footage prior to the installation, so this way you're able to see all the different analytics that are activated on this third-party camera that I need to remind you is 9 years old. So starting from the timeline. So the timeline here that you can see at the bottom, there's multiple events that occurred. So you have license plate event, you have vehicle movement, human movement, and unmatched faced event. So if we zoom in a little bit on there, so I will show you some example. So for example, if I click here, I have a vehicle movement, and you can see that the camera detected a vehicle movement on the street at this period. And you have a lot of different analytics you can have because of this enterprise license. So if I click here on manage events type, here's every kind of event you can have. So human movement, facial recognition, license plate recognition, any type of movement, vehicle movement as we discussed, and you choose which one you want to activate here. For the purpose of this video, we activated everything. We pushed this camera to its limits, but it performed really well, and this is what we're here to show. So here you have the event search. If I click on this, you have all the different people detection that occurred on this camera since it was installed. And as you can see, it is pretty accurate. And you can even do some match faces here or search by colors. So if I want to search someone wearing maybe a red shirt, an orange shirt, as we see here, and you can even add a region. So for example, I want to see any people that walked in this area, and let's say I want them to have something that was red. So I enable all of this, it's loading the information, and here I have multiple things that was detected right here. So if I click on this, for example, as you can see from the clip, I do wear something that is red and I do walk inside of this rectangle. Now, some of them have nothing inside. So if I click on this one, for example, so it's me actually walking, and you can see here that I'm clipped back the rectangle. So it sees me as a human movement, so a person, and I do wear red here. So again, really accurate. Even though this is a 2 megapixel camera, you can see that the image is quite clear and it's still able to see those different colors. I can do exactly the same thing with vehicles. So if I click on vehicles here, I can find vehicles by their color or even their license plate. Here are all the different vehicles that were detected by the camera. And as you can see by the color icon that you have on the top left of the thumbnail, it reflects what you see on the timeline. So if it's brown, it's vehicle movement. And if it's purple, it means that it recognizes a license plate. So if I click on the license plate right here, well, you can see that it saw the license plate from this vehicle. Now, I will click on play. It's a 2 megapixel camera, right? You're not supposed to do license plate recognition with 2 megapixel because the image is not that clear. But it was still able to pick it up, and you're still able to view from the search here. So if I write the first letters, you can see that it recognized the license plate from different spots. And if I try something else, well, instantaneously, it's able to pick up other license plates as well. So think about that. This is for one camera that is 9 years old with 2 megapixels. But if you actually have a system with multiple cameras, you hook them up with the N100, this is what you're able to do. But it doesn't stop there. Now we did vehicle, we did people, but let's look at their AI beta. And this is something we see more and more, and it's pretty amazing, honestly, to be able to search something through prompts. Now, this one is sorted by confidence level, and again, it is still in beta phase, but honestly, works pretty well. Considering we're using a 2 megapixel camera and that resolution matter for AI search. So some false positives are expected, and that's why sorting by confidence level is important. So for example, if I do man with a purple hat, while it gives me a lot of different events, the first two are pretty accurate because it's actually me wearing a purple hat, as you can see on the screen right here. But you can actually be pretty specific in your search. So if I look for eye visibility vest and I click on search, well, same as before, it brings the two most close to the confidence level at the top and then some other events. So you do have me with a high vis vest here, you have someone else with a high vis vest. So again, if this doesn't impress you, I don't know what will, because this old camera is all of a sudden modern. So you keep the hardware that has been working fine for the last 5-10 years, and all of a sudden you bring AI to it, and as you can see, really accurate. I just type in the words and all of a sudden the events pop out. I can see it at the timeline, I can see the time on which day, and there you have it. I have my events directly on my timeline, directly on my screen that I can share, save, and this is actually something we'll show you in just a minute. Next is that you can look through all the events right here. So either by searching what was enabled in the timeline, you can also search by color through the date right here. And you have also the different events here that are identified through icons. So I have my vehicle movement. If I go down, I have human movement, I have unmatched space. So all those different events are classified right here. Next is the region search. So here I would draw a region as I did with the people detection, and any movement that happened in this region, well, will appear as well on my picture. And that doesn't stop there. So yes, you have all the AI, but you also have the different data that are linked to your camera. So if I click on historical data, I can see when the camera was installed, when it started recording, and what was stored on the device itself. I have my unique visits, so depending on the faces that were detected, so I can see one face here, one face there, so through the time and day as well. I have the total visits in terms of people, so here I have 35, here I have 30. So again, making monitoring really easy for anyone that uses this platform with whatever camera you have. You have your crowd control right here, your different motion events. So everything under the same roof, you gain a bunch of abilities for your camera. Now, I mentioned saving a video. So for example, we have my movement here, so we'll zoom in. And I want to save this clip to share it with someone, or maybe just to file a report. All you need to do is click on the scissors that you have here, and you crop the timeline on which part you want to save. So I will save this right here. You click either on create a shared stream or saving the clip. You gave the clip a title and a description, and you can either make it org-wide or private. And this way your clip will be saved inside your Rhombus console. Now, when the clip is saved, you can access it through the save video. So we did it prior. So here you have like and subscribe, that is saved. So you have your clip, you can watch it directly from here, and you can review what happened actually here. So yes, you have this clip, but you can go to the footage to actually see the different analytics on the timeline. You can also download this clip in MP4, and you can also share it as I mentioned. So when you click on share, you gave it a title. You can create a password also for this clip, so this way you make sure it is secured and that the right person that have access to it can actually view what's going on here. And you can also add an expiration. So if I want it to last, let's say 2 hours, so I can send the clip by clicking on share. It will create a URL for me that is available for the next 2 hours. So I can copy this URL, or I can actually send it by entering an email or a phone number, and it will go directly to the right person. Now, the way this looks is if I click on copy URL and then I open the clip. So there you have it. You have a manually captured by Jeremy clip. It's the same clip that we were reviewing. So the person can look around, see the different actions on there, and review what happened on that situation. Going back inside of the Rhombus console, I can also go here to logs and report and audit those logs. So you can see the different action that actually happened. So here I saved the clip so you can see who did it. You have a timestamp, you even have the location, and then you can see that this clip was shared. Not only that, but here, for an example, you can see that the clip was actually viewed. So when you send the clip for a report, you can see when the people actually viewed those clips. So it's easier for you to follow up in these kinds of situations. And as I mentioned, you can also see the different location. So an anonymous share user actually viewed the clip from Sacramento in California. And all of this is part of the Rhombus console. So when you hook your cameras up with the N100, you have access to all of this. You have access to the dashboard that you can actually customize. So by having your camera feeds maybe on the top, your device status, your different reports, if you want to have people counting, vehicle counting, the different bandwidth usage. If you want to have the different faces recognition that appeared, you can put them on the top of your list. So you can really customize your interface the way you want to. And not only that, but if you click on the cogwheel and you go inside your licenses, you can see all the different licenses that you have. and you can manage them. So if I have 3 enterprise licenses, 5 professional licenses, and I want to change them between my camera, this is something I can do. So I have full control on my license. For example, here on this camera, I have an enterprise license. I activated the AI search, color search, so it uses a lot of bandwidth. So I can remove it if I want to, but I can also remove the license completely from my camera, and I can assign it to another camera if I want to change the licenses. So I want maybe my bullet camera to have this license plate recognition, and I want this camera to only have the professional license on it. So you have full control of your console and you can manage it as you like. And everything that I've just shown is also available on the Rhombus mobile app. So you can navigate through your app with the different filters and look for the different events in the same way, using their timeline and the different filters to find your events. While this news brings some uncertainty, you can see that there is always a solution out there and that changes isn't always bad. I mean, this camera is 9 years old and I can do face recognition with it, and I can ask him to find someone with a Pipl app. It's crazy and I absolutely love it. If you like it as much as I do, don't hesitate to reach Rhombus directly. They have a very responsive team, so they will be able to support you to any request. And as you know, if you want to ask some specific question that you don't want to leave in the comment, you can always reach out to us at admin@Pipl System and we'll make sure to answer your questions. Alright guys, I'm Jeremy from Pipl Systems. See you on the next one.